The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning to you here at 5 a.m. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher.
And it has been a busy week for economic news. Data shows the economy shrank for the second straight quarter, and the Fed raised interest rates for the fourth time this year. While there are growing fears of a recession, unemployment does remain low. NBC's Bree Jackson is in Washington with more.
Yesterday, I spoke with
President Biden is pushing back against fears of a recession, emphasizing the strong job market and billions in business investment.
That doesn't sound like a recession to me.
But higher prices for groceries, fuel, and energy are taking a big toll on everyday life for millions of Americans.
I'm grateful for the company I work for. They have offered us cost of living increases, but it's nothing compared to the rate of inflation.
The Federal Reserve raised interest rates again with hopes of bringing inflation down. Administration officials say they're focused on addressing economic concerns.
This is a very unusual situation in that coming out of the pandemic, we have a set of supply chain challenges that continue to affect the economy.
Democrats say the deal struck between Senators Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer will help make a difference. It includes efforts to reduce the deficit, invest in climate change, while also helping struggling families.
This bill will reduce inflationary pressures on the economy.
Republicans argue it will only make matters worse.
Democrats aren't sticking it to the fat cats. They're sticking it to the same middle-class families they've already crushed with inflation.
Amid the political back and forth, lawmakers put their differences aside, playing in the congressional baseball game. While Republicans won on the field, Democrats are pushing for a legislative win as they look to pass a reconciliation bill next week. Senate Democrats are racing to get their spending bill through Congress before the August recess, needing a simple majority, 50 votes, to pass. In Washington, I'm Bree Jackson for NBC News.
While the White House is working to calm fears over the economy, Bakersfield Congressman and House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy says the latest GDP report does reflect a recession.
The government announced what every American has been feeling for nearly a year. We are in a recession. This news is a grim milestone that points towards more hardship, more suffering, and more pain for the American people. And every day the American people understand the simple truth. We cannot afford Democrats' failed policies, but we are certainly paying for them.
The latest GDP report came on the same day the U.S. House passed the CHIPS bill, a sweeping package aimed at boosting domestic production of computer chips. McCarthy claims the bill is a $280 billion blank check that will exacerbate inflation issues and lead to more economic woes for Americans.
All right, it could be an exciting day for everyone across the country. Mega Millions madness has Americans dreaming about what it would be like to be a billionaire with a B, not with an M, with a B.
Yeah, and the jackpot is now at an estimated $1.1 billion. That makes the prize the third largest in the game's history, behind $1.5 billion prizes won back in 2016 and 2018. Tuesday night's numbers were 29, 63, 66, 7, 60, and a mega ball of 15. So think about switching it up if you're going to pick that combo. The next drawing is tonight. You still have a couple hours to go grab your tickets.
Yeah, and of course, anytime we talk about these jackpots, the big question is, what would you do?
Oh, yeah.
What would you do with all that money? And so we want to know what you would do with that money. So all you have to do is call or text us at 661-888-4617.
Well, now, if you do actually win the $1 billion jackpot, does more money always equal more problems?
You've always heard these things, right? Well, some consider investing, donating, traveling, or a combination of all three.
My rule is tell one family member and go find an attorney that you can trust and hire them to help guide you throughout this process. The next really big decision that you're going to have to make, and this is the most important financial decision you'll ever make in your entire life, and that is, do you want to take the lump sum or do you want to take the annuity? And the ramifications of either of those decisions are monumental.
They're
Yeah,
monumental?
I know, surprise.
I'm
Big
surprised
there.
by that.
Okay, so if you are going to play tonight and get a ticket, here are some tips to prepare for tonight's drawing. First, protect your ticket. So a single slip of paper, as you know, can easily be lost, especially if you do this on a regular basis.
I lose lots of things.
Yeah, well, I know this is not good for Maddie. By the way, a California woman not too long ago lost a $26 million ticket in her laundry machine.
Oh my
Yikes.
gosh.
Second, here's another tip. Build your team. Find someone you can trust and consider hiring an attorney, a financial planner, and a tax advisor to help with the burden of winning a $1 billion jackpot. And lastly, the big decision. You would have to choose between 30 payments or 29 years or cash out at a measly $602 million.
Measly $602 million. Go get your tickets.
Yeah.
You have a few more hours.
And again, let us know what you would do. 661-888-4617. We're really interested in this to see what you would do with all of that money.
Welcome back in your Court Watch. The owner of Tastries Bakery in Bakersfield testified yesterday in the lawsuit filed against her by the Department of Fair Employment and Housing. Cathy Miller is accused of violating the UNRRA law by refusing to bake a wedding cake for a same-sex couple. Day 4 of the trial started with Eileen Rodriguez Del Rio testifying about the online harassment she says she received when the story went public in 2017. She says she doesn't regret social media posts she made after being denied a wedding cake. Michael Miller, the husband of Cathy Miller, also testified, saying he felt constitutional rights would allow them to have design standards that included only selling wedding cakes to heterosexual couples. He says the Millers believe marriage should only be between a man and a woman. Cathy Miller later took the stand, talking about the layout, process, and policies everyone who works at Tastries follows. She did mention that previously 4 employees who made cakes for gay couples behind her back.
Because of the case, I require that the groom be there unless it's mitigating circumstances. Like you've made a big box, I'm trying to understand. And that was hurtful, deceitful, and not only for me, but for our reputation, for our bakery, and for my Lord.
Miller said they've since implemented a number of standard operating procedures, like making sure they have the name of the bride and the groom. Miller testified she has done by far more than 1,000 design consultations for custom cakes, and that her design standards based on fundamental Christian principles apply to all of Tastries baked goods. Court went on to recess after Miller became emotional when asked about her understanding of same-sex marriage.
They want to get done today. Let's just finish.
Let's take that.
Now, trial is set to resume later this morning. All right, in other news, we have an update on an accident between a big rig and a motorcycle that sent 2 people to the hospital. It happened around 1 o'clock Wednesday afternoon on South Union Avenue near Barton Avenue. According to the Highway Patrol, 2 people on the motorcycle suffered major injuries and were taken to the hospital. The driver of the big rig was not hurt. There is no further information from CHP about this crash and who was at fault.
5:36 is your time now. The Bakersfield Police Department's asking for help finding a missing man who's considered at risk. 29-year-old Tyler Shields was last seen in the area of South H Street and Fairview Road. BPD says he's considered at risk due to a mental condition. Shields is 6 feet tall, 250 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. He was wearing a black and red shirt, gray sweatpants, and black shoes. Anyone with information on where he could be should call BPD at 327-7111.
In court news this morning, charges have been reduced against the driver involved in a crash that killed a 13-year-old Bakersfield boy back in January of last year. Christina Moreno-Gonzalez allegedly made a left turn against a red arrow at a malfunctioning traffic light on the corner of Coffee and Hageman Roads. Her vehicle hit a motorcycle carrying 13-year-old Nicholas Peterson and his stepfather as they entered the intersection on a green light. Nicholas died and his stepfather was left with serious injuries. The boy's biological father is suing the city, alleging the intersection was poorly designed and has been the scene of numerous crashes. Court documents say a felony manslaughter charge against Moreno-Gonzalez was reduced to a misdemeanor at a preliminary hearing held earlier this week. She is due back in court August 5th.
A federal judge has ruled to combine 2 lawsuits related to photos taken of the 2020 helicopter crash that killed 9 people, including Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna. Vanessa Bryant's lawsuit's being combined with another lawsuit against LA County. That case involves another one of the victim's family members, Chris Chester. Chester lost his wife and daughter in the crash and also says the photos caused him emotional distress. Combining the 2 lawsuits into a single trial would make the process quicker and less costly.
Caught on camera now, and as far as smooth criminals go, this guy just doesn't make the cut. Take a look at this. Police in Northern California released new surveillance video capturing a burglar who broke into a business earlier this week and then forgot his car keys at the crime scene. This is footage from a Johnny Donut store in San Rafael. Police say the man broke into the back office and stole a bag of cash. He also apparently stole the bakery's car keys, but left his behind. The store owner says, quote, "Sometimes even the thought of a donut makes you do crazy things."
I guess it does. With coronavirus news now, one of the nation's largest COVID-19 testing labs is moving its testing to monkeypox. Mako Medical in North Carolina started the testing 2 weeks ago. Right now, the state has 46 confirmed cases of monkeypox. A doctor or clinician tests for the virus by swabbing the blisters, while the lab checks the DNA on the swab for evidence of the virus. Mako Medical personnel said the test is 99% accurate.
In the lab for testing COVID-19 samples, we can utilize that same instrumentation, capacity, staff for monkeypox testing as well.
The lab says turnaround time for monkeypox results is less than 24 hours.
Meantime, LA County will not reimpose an indoor mask mandate for now after COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations appear to trend downward. The county entered the high level of community transmission July 14th, prompting health officials to warn the public about a possible indoor mask mandate being issued to slow the spread. The county's public health department will instead continue to strongly recommend masking up indoors.
A community dedication event is happening this morning, memorializing a portion of State Highway 65 as the fire captain Ramon Figueroa and firefighter Patrick Jones Memorial Highway. The event will start at 10 a.m. at Fire Station 71. For reference, on February 18th, 2020, flames quickly engulfed the Porterville Public Library after officials say 2 juveniles set it on fire. Captain Ray Figueroa and firefighter Patrick Jones rushed into the library to make sure no one was inside, but they never made it out. And Dutch Bros locations in Bakersfield will be donating $1 to the Burrito Project today for every drink sold today. The Burrito Project is a collective and hosts a group of volunteers that come together to feed the homeless and has been serving Bakersfield for 13 years. For more information on participating locations, check out our website, kget.com.
We are now looking ahead to next week, and KGET is teaming up with the Open Door Network, formerly known as the Bakersfield Homeless Center, to send kids back to school with all the supplies they need. We are asking for basic school supplies such as backpacks, notebooks, pens and pencils, and other items for boys, girls, and teens. From August 1st through August 12th, you can drop off donations at our station at 22nd and L Streets here in downtown Bakersfield. Meantime, Mercy and Memorial Hospitals are hosting a backpack giveaway tomorrow. The event is at the Bessie Owens Primary School in Bakersfield at 8 a.m. It goes until 11. Our Telemundo affiliate donated 200 backpacks to the Back to School event. That event will provide 560 total backpacks in addition to school supplies, health information, and 225 free box lunches for families.
And another back-to-school drive is happening Sunday in Delano from 10 a.m. till noon. Free notebooks, pencils, and books will be handed out, as well as free COVID-19 tests. The drive will be at the 11th Community Center. The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.